Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I am here to talk about my Contemporary-A-Thon TBR. I am so excited to be participating in the Contemporary-A-Thon again. I participated last February. This is a great readathon that is run by some of my favorite bookish people on the internet. This round is being hosted by Chelsea, Julie, and Natasha, and all of their channels will of course be linked down below, as will any other relevant information, including a full list of the challenges for this round. This round of Contemporary-A-Thon is going from February 10th through February 16th, so I know I'm getting this TBR up like right on the line. But what else is new? That's exactly what I did last year. The other important thing that you need to know about this readathon TBR is that in February I usually make it a goal to read exclusively or mostly Black authors, and so every book that I will be talking about today is by a Black author to go along with my February TBR. So Contemporary-A-Thon has 7 challenges. I am planning on attempting to read 4 books to accomplish those 7 challenges, and we are just going to go through these in order. I'll tell you about the books, I'll tell you about which challenges they're counting for. That's basically the thing. Let's go ahead and jump in. Challenge number 1 is to read a book with green on the cover. For this challenge, I am planning on counting Here Comes the Sun by Nicole Dennis-Benn. Here Comes the Sun is adult literary fiction about a queer main character, and it is set in Jamaica. This is about a character named Margot who lives in Jamaica and hustles to keep her younger sister Tundi in school. She's dedicated to making sure that her sister never has to face the same fate, and then this new resort is potentially going to be built, and it's going to financially destroy their village, but Margot also sees it as a potential way out for her, and along with that she's also dealing with the fact that she has these forbidden feelings for another woman. I've wanted to read this book for like literal years. I have been trying to read it over and over again and it just never happened, and then I recently found this at a half-price books and I was so thrilled. This is one of the oldest books on my Goodreads TBR, and I'm really excited to read it this week. Challenge number 2 is to read a contemporary book from a new-to-me author, and technically, I think every single author that I am reading this week is a new-to-me author, so they could all count. But for this challenge, I'm going to say the thing that counts right now is Full Disclosure by Camryn Garrett. This was an October 2019 release. It is about a teenage girl who is HIV positive, and she is just trying to blend in at school, try to make things easy for herself, because the last time that that piece of information became public, it wound up being really bad for her. She starts getting really close to this boy Miles, she really wants to date him, she really wants to be with him, and then she gets a note in her locker threatening to inform the school that she is HIV positive if she doesn't break up with Miles. This was one of the most hyped releases of 2019. I feel like a ton of people read it, and it was one of my most anticipated releases of the year. Besides having a Black main character who is HIV positive, I read up and discovered that the main character of this book is bi, or potentially exploring the fact that she might be bisexual. Camryn Garrett was a debut author, so this is a new-to-me author and a new-to-everyone author. That's what I'm counting for this challenge. Challenge number 3 is to read a diverse contemporary. Again, most of the books that I am talking about could be counted for this challenge, but I am pushing myself to have an intersectional, diverse contemporary, and so for this challenge I am also using Full Disclosure. This has a queer Black main character, as well as discussing HIV, which I think is super underrepresented and super under-talked about in YA. I felt like this was a really good book for intersectionality with all of the different things that it's exploring, so this is my diverse contemporary. Challenge number 4 is to read a backlist contemporary, or something that has been on your TBR for longer than a year. For this one, I am using Here Comes the Sun. Like I said, this has been on my TBR for ages and ages, and when I was looking at my shelves, I pretty much discovered that this is the oldest book on my Goodreads TBR by a Black author. At least I'm somewhat sure of that. When I was glancing around and glancing at my shelves, that seemed to be the case. So not only is this good for that challenge, it's like decidedly a backlist title for me. Challenge number 5 is to read a dark or hard-hitting contemporary, and for this I am reading Long Way Down by Reynolds. This is a novel in verse about a boy whose older brother has been killed. This could count for numerous challenges in this Contemporary-A-Thon, but I really wanted to read a bit of poetry for this round of the readathon. I think this might be the only author who I might have read before. I believe I have read something by Reynolds in an anthology, but I've never read one of his full works. So this will be the first time that I give Jason Reynolds a full shot. Challenge number 6 is to read a contemporary with an illustrated cover. For this one, I am going with Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. This is supposedly part ghost story, part road novel. It is a family narrative about a family making a trip from the Gulf Coast to the Mississippi State Penitentiary. I talked about this as well as Long Way Down in my top 10 to read in 2020, so I thought it was so interesting I made this TBR without realizing it, and then looked at my list and went, oh, I'm reading 2 books from that TBR. I talked a little bit more about this book in that video, but I've just been told over and over again that I'm going to love this book, and it has a beautiful illustrated cover. And I've never read anything by Jesmyn Ward before, which is wild considering she's one of the most celebrated authors working in literary fiction today, so I'm really, really eager to jump into this one. And finally, challenge number 7 is to read a book that is beloved by a member of the book community and to shout out that member of the book community. For this challenge, I am also using Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. This is beloved by many members of the bookish community, but someone I saw talking about it really recently is Jamie from Absorbed in Pages. I met Jamie at Book Expo last year. She was such a brilliant voice to listen to. I went to a panel she was a part of, and we got to hang out a bit. I so value her voice in this community, and considering how much she really hyped this book, for me, I knew that I had to give it a shot. So I am reading a book that is beloved by Jamie, and I will of course leave her Instagram linked down below. So here you go. These are the 4 books that I am reading for the Contemporary-A-Thon this round. I don't think I mentioned this in my February TBR, but in that TBR, I basically didn't talk about what books I was reading for what Blackathon challenges, which is the month-long readathon happening in February that I'm participating in, and the thing that it came down to is that most of the books I am reading for the contemporary lit challenges of Blackathon are these books. So you will be seeing these more as I talk about them throughout the month, and I will talk more about which Blackathon challenges they accomplish in my wrap-up. Hopefully that explains that video a little bit more, and hopefully this seems like a good TBR to all of you. I have 2 literary fiction books which are probably going to take me a longer period of time, which is why I chose poetry and YA contemporary for my other books, but I'm feeling like I can get through all 4 of these in a week. Okay, y'all, that is it for the video today. Please let me know if you are participating in the Contemporary-A-Thon, and if you are, let me know what you are planning to read. Plus, let me know what you thought of any of these books that I talked about in this video. I would love to hear some pre-reviews to get me hype about reading this week. Other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!